Welcome back, children, to this class in literature in English. Today we will be doing the poem 9 Gold Medals, which had come in ICSE in the year 2019. The first thing, again, you will have to understand is what type of a poem is 9 Gold Medals. This poem is a lyric or a lyrical poem. What's a lyric? In the olden days, whenever a poem was sung with the help of a musical instrument called lyre, such a poem was called a lyric. So, a lyric becomes a poem which could be sung with the help of the musical instrument called lyre. That is why, if you search in YouTube, you will find this poem actually in the form of a song because it's a lyrical poem. That is the first thing. Now we come to the background to this poem. The background to this poem is Special Olympics. The event described in the poem is the Special Olympics, which is also called the Para-Olympics. It is different from what we popularly call the Olympic Games. It is different because only physically challenged people, disabled people, because today we call them differently abled people. So, physically challenged people, the so-called disabled people, or differently abled people participate in this Special Olympics or Para-Olympics. They always have some physical drawback or some form of disability. This Special Olympics actually informally started in 1962, and the pioneer was a lady called Eunice Shriver, who happened to be the sister of the late US President John F. Kennedy. But this informal event, which started in 1962, pioneered by Eunice Shriver in the backyard of her house, went on to become a global event in 1968. And the first Paralympics or Special Olympics was held at Chicago, Illinois, in the USA in the year 1968. Now we will see the poem stanza-wise, because in each stanza we are dealing with something that will build up to the incident in the poem and to the climax of the poem. So, let us move on to the poem stanza 1. The athletes had come from so many countries to run for the gold, for the silver and bronze, many weeks and months in training, all building up to the games. Building up simply means preparing or training for the Olympic Games. So, the first stanza is dealing with the participants, the athletes. These athletes had come to participate in the Special Olympics. They had come from various parts of the world, from different countries. And before coming to participate, obviously, they had been preparing themselves, training themselves, working very hard in order to win the gold or the silver or the bronze medal. Obviously, the first stanza is a description of the participants or the athletes getting ready, what is their condition? They have come eager to win medals. They are excited to participate in the Special Olympics. They are hopeful of winning medals. But what is important in the first stanza is the hard work, the preparation, the training that had been put in by these athletes with the hope of winning either of the three medals, gold, silver, or bronze. So basically, the first stanza deals with the preparation or the build-up or the readiness of the participants. Now we come to the second stanza. All round the field, spectators were gathered, cheering on all the young women and men. Then the final event of the day was approaching, the last race about to begin. In the second stanza, the poet is giving us a description of the ambience and the atmosphere inside the stadium where the Olympic Games is taking place. So, inside the stadium, whole lot of spectators had crowded. They had come to see the Para-Olympic Games. Obviously, they were inside the stadium shouting, cheering, applauding, clapping for their favorite athletes, both men and women. They were equally excited, they were equally enthusiastic, they were equally cheerful, they were also involved in the games from the stadium because they had come not only to encourage these participants but also to support them in their endeavor and hard work. And the last event of that particular day was to take place, and the last or the final event of that day, not the Olympics, of that day was the 100-meter race, which was soon to take place. Then what do you see in the second stanza? The second stanza increases that build-up in the poem. The atmosphere in the poem becomes more and more exciting because we get the reactions of the audience, the cheerfulness and enthusiasm and the involvement of the spectators. Now we come to stanza 3. The loudspeakers called out the names of the runners, the 100 meters the race to be run, and 9 young athletes stood there determined and poised for the sound of the gun. So imagine, in the third stanza, we now come to the build-up to the event. The event obviously is the final event of the day, that is the 100-meter race. So what happened? With the help of loudspeakers, the names of the participating athletes were called out. There was a total of 9 athletes who were going to run the 100-meter race. All the 9 athletes stood at the starting line. They were balanced, they were ready, they were concentrating, they were waiting for the signal to be given for the 100-meter race to begin. So you see, from the preparation of the participants to the cheerfulness of the audience, we now come to the final event, the event that is most important in the poem, because that is what the poet wants to highlight what happened during that 100-meter race. So slowly the build-up has taken place, and we now come to the point where the 9 athletes are absolutely ready to run the 100-meter race. And remember, each had come with the dream and the hope of winning a medal. Now we come to stanza 4. The signal was given, the pistol exploded, and so did the runners on hearing the sound. So finally, the pistol was fired. That was the signal for the 9 athletes to begin the 100-meter race. So all the 9 started their run the moment the pistol was fired. But the youngest among them stumbled and staggered, and he fell on his knees to the ground. Imagine, all the 9 participants were young, but one was the youngest of all the 9. This youngest fellow, when he started running, he stripped, he tripped, he lost his balance, and he fell down on his knees to the ground. When this young fellow fell down to the ground, obviously the other 8 participants continued with their run. But tragedy struck this youngest athlete who fell down to the ground, unable to maintain his body balance. Now see, one warning I would like to give you here. In your ICSE text, the word used is youngest in the 3rd line of the stanza, but the youngest among them stumbled and staggered. If you refer to many workbooks, if you go to the net, you will find that instead of the word youngest, the word smallest has been used. Please ignore this word smallest in your syllabus, which is in your prescribed textbook. The word is youngest, not smallest. Please take this warning. And in this stanza, you have a figure of speech. Very simple. Stumbled and staggered. The repetition of the consonant sound S. Therefore, you have the figure of speech alliteration. Now we come to stanza 5. He gave out a cry of frustration and anguish. His dreams and his efforts dashed in the dirt. Obviously, when this youngest athlete lost his balance and fell down, he gave out a cry. The cry was one of helplessness, one of defeat, one of failure, and one of pain. But remember, this cry of pain was not the cry of physical pain of falling down. It was the cry of the pain of having lost this opportunity to win a medal. So all his hopes, all his dreams, all his preparations and trainings had all come to nothing. That is why the poet uses the phrase dashed to dirt. His hope, his dream, his ambition, his goal of winning a medal had come to an end because he had fallen down to the ground while running. Again, dashed to dirt. In this phrase, you have a repetition of the consonant D. Therefore, it is an alliteration. But as sure as I am standing here telling the story, now it is a strange one, but here is what occurred. Now, after this young boy fell down, something happened. And whatever happened was extraordinary. It had never happened before. It was unbelievable. Readers would not believe what happened after this, because such an incident had never happened before in the history of sports. That is why the poet is saying, if it is a fact and if it is true that I am standing here, then, my dear readers, it is true, it is a fact what happened after this. Trust me, whatever I am going to say, the poet is saying, trust me, readers, whatever I am going to say, believe in it, because that is exactly what happened on that day, something that had never happened before. Obviously, before describing what happened, the poet is eager to win the trust and the confidence of the readers. Otherwise, the readers would not believe what happened. They would think it is only an imagination or a fiction. Now we move on to the next stanza. The 8 other athletes stopped in their tracks. The ones who had trained for so long to compete. One by one, they turned round and came back to help him and lifted the lad to his feet. This is what happened. As the youngest of them fell down, I told you, the other 8 went on running. But suddenly they realized, probably, that one was missing. Instead of running towards the finishing line, all the 8 stopped on the running track. They stopped, they turned, they saw the youngest athlete fallen to the ground. Instead of running and finishing the race, they walked back to the youngest fellow who was fallen to the ground, extended their helping hand, and lifted the boy from the ground. This is the extraordinary incident which happened. Imagine, all these 8 athletes also had worked and prepared and trained hard to win the medal. And yet, at that moment of time, they forgot about their ambition of winning a medal. They forgot about their dream of winning the medal. For them, what was important was that one of them, one of their brother had fallen. It was necessary for them to lend a helping hand to that youngest fellow. Now, before I come to why it happened and what is implied here, let me tell you, this word lad in the last line of the stanza is actually a Scottish word, meaning a boy. In Scottish English, a lad means a boy, a lass, L-A-S-S, means a girl. Lad and lass, boy and girl. Now the question is, why did these 8 help the youngest one? Remember, all the 9 were differently abled, physically challenged. The 8 thought that supposing the same thing had happened to us, our dreams and hopes would also have come to an end. We would have had to return home empty-handed. And this has happened to this young boy. He will have to go back home empty-handed, with no medals, dreams dashed, hopes unfulfilled. These fellows put themselves in place of that young boy and imagined what would have happened, what would have been their condition if they had fallen down instead of that young boy. This feeling is called empathy, not sympathy. It is called empathy. there is a subtle difference between sympathy and empathy. Sympathy is when you see somebody suffer, from a distance, you feel sorry for that person. And it doesn't last for long. But empathy is when you see somebody suffer, you put yourself in place of that person and you try to feel what would have happened to you if you were in the place of that suffering person. That means you don't just express sympathy for somebody. Empathy is you put yourself in the place of that person and feel that suffering. These 8 had empathized with the youngest athlete. Their empathy was, if I had fallen down, my dreams would also have broken. So why should I allow this young boy's dream to be broken? Now I come to the next stanza. Then all 9 runners joined hands and continued the 100 meters reduced to a walk. Now the extraordinary incident had its climax. What was it? The 9 athletes held each other's hands. They stopped running. They started walking, holding hands, and crossed the finishing line together. And all 9 were to be awarded the gold medal because they had crossed the finishing line together. And the banner above that said, Special Olympics, could not have been nearer the mark. What was the event? Special Olympics. And imagine, Special Olympics meant for special people became more special because of this extraordinary incident which had never happened before in the history of sports. Am I clear? That is why the poet is saying it could not have been more than nearer the mark. It could not have been more true. It really became special because of this extraordinary, unbelievable incident taking place. Special Olympics with special people creating a special history. Now I come to the last stanza. That is how the race ended. How did the race end? With the 9 walking, holding hands and crossing the finishing line. With 9 gold medals, all the 9 had to be awarded gold medals. They came to the finish line holding hands still. They were still holding their hands when they crossed the finishing line. Symbol of empathy, symbol of brotherhood, symbol of unity, that they were one even though they were special. And the banner above and 9 smiling faces said more than these words ever will, said more than these words ever will. Now please try to understand, sometimes actions speak louder than words. These 8 athletes who had stopped, turned back, helped the young athlete and had walked together to cross the finishing line had not uttered a single word. They gave the impression of what they wanted to do by showing it to the audience. It was their actions that they showed what they wanted to convey. That is why the poem ends with, words cannot explain what happened, because the actions of these 8 spoke louder than the words. And all 9 were smiling when they crossed the finishing line, simply because all the 9 had come first and were awarded the gold medal. All the stanzas in the poem have 4 lines, but the last stanza has 5 lines because the last line has been repeated. You know, I have always told you that there is repetition in a poem because the poet wants to stress or highlight what he wants or she wants to convey. Now I come to the theme of the poem. When you are writing in your answers the theme, these are the words you will have to highlight. Please note them. Human values, sacrifice, selflessness, sportsmanship, empathy. You see, these 8 had human values. Their value system was so moralistic that they did not think about themselves. They were more concerned about the young boy who had fallen to the ground. That is why they sacrificed their dream of winning a medal individually. That is why they acted with selflessness. They were not selfish. They showed their sportsman spirit by helping a fellow athlete, an athlete who was physically challenged like them. And they showed the quality of empathy to this fallen young boy. I have already described what is empathy. You must understand what these 8 did was appreciated and cheered and supported by the audience, the spectators. Even the organizers were impressed and overwhelmed with what these 8 had done. That is why the title 9 gold medals, meaning all the 9 were awarded gold medals because the organizers appreciated what they had displayed that day. Human values, sacrifice, selflessness, sportsmanship, and that sense of empathy. That is why the title of the poem, 9 Gold Medals. Now, I would like to end today's session by comparing this poem to a story which is there in your syllabus. The story is My Greatest Olympic Prize by Jesse Owens. In that story we see Jesse Owens had gone to participate in the 1936 Berlin Olympics, and he was supposed to take part in various events, and one was the broad jump, which is today called the long jump. But during the hits or the trials, he could not jump properly. He had 3 chances to qualify. In the first 2 jumps, he had fouled. And he had only 1 more opportunity. If he fouled in that 3rd chance, he would have been disqualified. Now, there was a German broad jumper, Louis Long, who was the closest rival of Jesse Owens. Obviously, rivals are not expected to help each other. But when Jesse Owens had fouled twice, Louis Long, the German athlete, had come forward and had advised Jesse Owens where he was going wrong and what he should do so as not to foul and so as to qualify. The next day, Jesse Owens followed the instruction given by Louis Long and he qualified. And in the finals, he beat Louis Long to win the gold medal in the broad jump. And when Jesse Owens won the gold medal, the first person to come and congratulate him was Louis Long, his nearest and fiercest German rival. Louis Long did not mind losing the gold medal. What did he do? He had shown his human values. He had sacrificed his own ambition. He had been selfless in helping his rival. He had shown the spirit of sportsmanship by helping and advising his rival. He had shown empathy for Jesse Owens. Yes, the circumstance was different. Louis Long did so because of political reasons. Even though he was a German, he did not believe in Hitler's theory of Aryan or German supremacy. Hitler believed that the German or the Aryan race, they were the supreme in the world, and therefore they should win all the medals. Louis Long did not agree with this theory. He wanted to prove it wrong, and that is why he wanted the black, the Negro Jesse Owens to win. That is a different matter. He had his political reasons. But despite that political reason, he did show his human value. He sacrificed his personal ambition of winning the gold medal in order to protest quietly. And in that way, he showed values, sacrifice, selflessness, sportsmanship, and empathy. So in ICSE, please be very, very careful, because if this poem or that story, they come, or if both comes, what will happen is you may be asked these comparative questions, because there is a great deal of similarity, not in the storyline, but in the theme of the story, My Greatest Olympic Prize, and the theme of the poem, 9 Gold Medals. And in both cases, these are the words you will have to use when you are discussing the theme. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Today I am going to start another important chapter. It's called Statistics. This particular chapter you have done in class 9, where you have learned definition, raw data, tally mark, bar graph, histogram, etc., etc. And you have also learned mean, median, mode of on-group data. So here in class 10 syllabus, I'll teach you how to find mean, median, mode of both on-group as well as group data. So first we'll learn mean of on-group data. Now mean means average. Suppose question is find the mean of a first natural number less than 6. Okay, this is example. Find the mean of first natural number less than 6. So first you have to know what is natural number. Natural number means the number which starts from 1. So numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Therefore mean equals to formula will be sum of all the number divided by number of observation. Okay, so sum of all the number means you have to add 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 divided by number of observation means you have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now add it. 1 plus 2, 3 plus 3, 6, 6 plus 4, 10, 10 plus 5, 15 divided by 5. Therefore, answer is 3. So in this way you have to calculate mean. Now let us do the next question. Question is, again same question. Question is, find the mean of the following number 4, 6, 6, 8, 9, 7, 7, 7, 5, 3. Therefore, mean equals to, I have given the formula, sum of all the numbers divided by number of observation. Now you have to write 4 plus 6 plus 6 plus 8 plus 9 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 5 plus 3 divided by, now count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now if you add everything, you will get 62. Now 62 divided by 10 is 6.2. Okay, now next number. Next number, the weight in kg of the 9 members of a school boxing team are 54, 59, X, 53, 73, 49, 50, 58, 45. If the average weight is 56 kg, find X. It means mean is given, you have to find out one of the variable. Now, formula is same, mean. Mean equals to, add everything, 54 plus 59 plus X plus 53 plus 73 plus 49 plus 50 plus 58 plus 45. Now everything is divided by, it's already given 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's divided by 9. Now the value of mean is given, which is 56. Now 56 equals to, you have to add everything. You have to add everything. If you add everything, you will get 441 plus X divided by 9. After that, you cross multiply. 9 into 56 is 504 equals to 441 plus X. After that, 504 minus 441 is equal to X. Subtract it, you will get X equals to 63. Okay, question number 3. Question number 3, marks, which is denoted by X. After that, frequency, denoted by F. Marks is 10, 15, 30, 25, 42, 21, and last one is 11. Okay, and the frequency is 5, 2, 6, 4, 3, 8, 2. Okay. Now again you have to find out mean, or find the mean of the following distribution. Question is there only. Now see, frequency means the number of times. That means 10 5 times. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, right 5 times. 15 2 times. 15, 15 2 times. 30 6 times. 30, 30, 30. So if you think in that way, it's very lengthy. Okay. So we are not going that method. Now, in this type of question, there are 3 methods to find mean. Number 1 is direct method, number 2 is shortcut method, and number 3 is step deviation method. Normally, in on-group data, we'll use direct method, that is easy. Okay. Only in group data, we'll follow shortcut method and step deviation method. That we'll do afterwards. Now, today, this question will solve by direct method. So, in direct method, you have to multiply these two. So, f into x is fx. Now simply you multiply 10 5s are 50, 15 2s are 30, 36 are 180, 25 into 4, 100. Now 42 into 3. 3 2s are 6, 3 4s are 12, 8 1s are 8, 8 2s are 16, 11 2s are 22. Now you have to add everything. Okay, this is called sigma fx or summation, means total. This symbol means total. Now if you add everything, you will get 676. Similarly, you have to add all the frequency. Sigma f equals to, now add everything, you will get 30. Therefore mean equals to sigma fx divided by sigma f is 676 divided by 30. If you divide it, you will get 22.53, which is the answer for mean for direct method. Okay, question number 4. First part is same, second part is difficult. First part is same, second part is difficult. From the following, calculate mean. If the number of workers in each category is double, what would be the new mean? This part is difficult. You have to understand the question. X is given. Again, second column is F. Now X is given 50, after that 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, and frequency is 2, 4, 8, 12, 10, 6, 8. Obviously, third column is fx. Now 50 2s are 100, 60 into 4, 240, 70 into 8, 560, 12 into 80, 960, this is 900, this is 600, and this is 880. Now again, sigma fx or summation fx, it's same thing. If you add it, you will get 4240 divided by sigma f. If you add it properly, you will get 50. Okay, now first part is same, mean equals to sigma fx divided by sigma f. 4240 divided by 50. If you divide it, you will get 84.8, which is the first answer. Now second part. Second part is, if the number of workers in each category is double, that means number of workers is frequency. Now each category is double means instead of 2 you think 4, instead of 4 you think 8, instead of this you think 16, instead of this you think 24, etc., etc. So if you think in that way, your calculation portion will be lengthy. So instead of thinking individually, if you think this into double, that means sigma fx is 50 into 2. If this is double, obviously this is also double. Same goes here. If this is double, this is also double, this is also double. So everything is double. So instead of thinking individual double, if you do simply into 2, okay, therefore number 2, new mean equals to sigma fx divided by sigma f. Okay, sigma fx is 4240 into 2 divided by 50 into 2. Either you multiply these two, it's up to you, or cancel this and this, you will get same answer, which is 84.8. Okay, next number. Next number, from the following, find the value of x if mean is 10. It means you have to find out x. Mean is given, which is 10. X. So what is the value for X? 5, 7, 9, 11, X, 15, 20. After that, frequency. Frequency is 4, 4, 4. After that, 7, 3, 2, 1. So third column will be Fx. Okay. Now multiply this. 5 4s are 20, 7 4s are 28, 9 4s are 36, 11 7s are 77. This is 3x, 15 2s are 30, 21s are 20. Then write summation Fx or sigma Fx. Now your sigma Fx is divided into two groups. 20, 28, 36, 77, 30, 20 is one group, 3x is in different group. So write 3x plus, now add everything. Add everything, you'll get 2, 1, 1. Similarly, add all the frequency. Add all the frequency, you'll get 25. Now, mean equals to sigma Fx divided by sigma F. Now the value of mean is already given, which is 10. So 10 equals to sigma Fx means 3x plus 211 divided by 25. So if you cross multiply, you will get 250 equals to 3x plus 211. Now 250 minus 211 equals to 3x. Now this minus this is 39. 39 is equal to 3x. 13 equals to x. Okay, next question. In this question, if you look at the question properly, mean is given, you have to find out frequency. I think this type of question is there in ICSE 2020 also, in section A. Again, X is given, F is given. Marks is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Now frequency is 6, 4, 6, 12, F4. Now third column is Fx. Third column is Fx. Now simply multiply these two. 5 6 are 30, 10 4 are 40, 15 6 are 90, 20 into 12, 240, 25 into F. 25F, 40 into 120. Now, sigma Fx equals to, again it is divided into two groups, 25F plus, now add all the remaining value. Add all the remaining value, you will get 520. Now, frequency, sigma F equals to F plus, add everything, you will get 32. Sigma F equals to F plus 32. Now mean equals to sigma Fx divided by sigma F. The value of mean is already given, which is 18. 18 equals to 25F plus 520 divided by F plus 32. F plus 32. Now you have to cross multiply it. 25F plus 520 is equal to 18F plus. Now if you multiply 18 into 32, you will get 576. You will get 576. Now write the like terms together, means 25F minus 18F equals to 576 minus 520. 25F minus 18F is 7F equals to 56. Therefore, F equals to 7 8 56, which is the value of F. Okay, today's last question. This question is difficult because if you look at the question properly, there are two variables A and B you have to find out, and in ICSE syllabus, if two variables are unknown, then you have to use simultaneous equation, whether it's AP in future, matrices, statistics, factor theorem, etc., etc. After solving everything, you have to do simultaneous equation. So here, marks obtained by 40 student is given below. Find A and B if mean is 7.2. It means mean is already given 7.2, and marks obtained by 40 student means this total number of student is 40. That is also given. Now write X. After that F. Marks is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then frequency is 6, A, 16, 13, B. After that, sigma fx. This is fx, sorry, this is fx. Now 5 6 are 30. 6 into A, 6A. Now 7 into 16. 1 1 2 7 6 are 42, 7 1 is 7, 8 9 10 11, 8 3 are 24, 8 1 is 8 2 1 0 4. After that 9B. Now write sigma fx. If you look at properly, your sigma fx is divided into three groups, 6A, 9B and the remaining number. So write 6A plus 9B plus, if you add it, you will get 246. Okay. Now sigma f. Sigma f, if you look at properly, it is divided into two groups, A and B. That means A plus B plus 35. Sigma f, A plus B plus 35. Now, this sigma f this is your sigma f, means this is your total frequency. The total frequency given in the question is 40. It means what? A plus B plus 35 equals to 40. This is your total frequency. This is given by the question. Okay. That means A plus B equals to 40 minus 35 is 5, which is equation 1. After that, now, for second equation, you have to apply the formula mean equals to sigma fx divided by sigma f. Now the value of mean is 7.2 equals to sigma fx means 6a plus 9b plus 246 divided by, this is very important. What frequency you are going to write is very important because you have both the frequency. One is 6a plus 9b plus 35 and another one is 40. You can write any one value, but which one is easy? That is very important. Here 40 is easy because if you remove this decimal, then you can cancel these two. 4 2s are 8, 4 7s are 28, 288. Now bring this side. Minus 246 equals to 6a plus 9b. 42 equals to 6a plus 9b. Now in this equation, all the numbers are divided by 3. It is not necessary, but if you divide it, calculation portion will be easier. So divide this by 3. 14. 3 2s are 3 3s are. So this is your equation 2. Now you have to do simultaneous equation. A plus B equals to 5. And second equation is 2a plus 3b equals to 14. So this you multiply by 2 and this you multiply by 1. So 2a plus 2b equals to 10. 2a plus 3b is equal to 14. Still you cannot cancel because both the values are plus. So you have to change the sign. Okay, so this and this cancel. Minus b equals to minus 4. This and this cancel. Therefore, b is equal to 4. Now we have to find out the value of a. You can do here. Putting b equals to 4 in. Take any one of the equation. Here I am taking equation 1. Equation 1. What is your equation 1? A plus b is equal to 5. A plus 4 is equal to 5. A is equal to 5 minus 4. A is equal to 1. Okay, this much for today. Tomorrow I'll teach you how to find mean by direct method, shortcut method and step deviation method. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, students. Okay, today in chemistry we're going to learn about a new chapter named acid, bases and salt. In my previous classes I have already finished giving you a concept of periodic table chapter and chemical bonding. In this episode of mine I'm going to teach you about acid, bases and salt chapter, in which today I'm going to discuss about acid. Okay, we're going to learn the chapter called acid, bases and salt. Today we are going to learn only about acid. Okay, now let us see the definition of acid first. These are those substances we say which on dissociation produces hydrogen ion symbol H plus as the only positive ion, and this is the old definition of acid. And the new definition of acid is these are those substances which on dissociation when dissolved in water produce hydronium ion. The symbol of hydronium ion is H3O plus as the only positive ion. So students, there are two definitions of acid, old and the new. Okay, old definition says that these are those substances which on dissociation produce H plus ion as the only positive ion, whereas new definition says when it is dissolved in water it produces hydronium ion as the only positive ions. Now to illustrate these two, I like to show you out here first with the old definition. So I am going to define acid according to the old definition first of all. Okay, so this is one compound called hydrogen chloride. This is the another compound called hydrogen nitrate. This is another compound called your hydrogen acetate. This is another compound called sulfuric acid. This is another compound called your carbonic acid. This is another compound called hydrogen sulfide, and this is your hydrogen phosphate. Okay, the formula of hydrogen phosphate is H3PO4. So for right now, for me, these all are the compounds. I'm not saying they are acid right now. Hydrogen chloride, hydrogen nitrate, hydrogen acetate, hydrogen sulfate, hydrogen carbonate, hydrogen sulfide, hydrogen phosphate. Now many students has a phobia about reaction in chemistry, which I like to eradicate. Now see here how I frame the reactions. So for me right now, these all are the compounds. Now let us break them. So whenever you break them, you have to show by reversible sign. Breaking means to dissociate. So whenever we dissociate them, we usually show it by reversible sign. And this is the symbol of it. So these all are the compound which I am about to dissociate. Now let's see here. When we dissociate this compound, what we are going to get? If you dissociate HCl, you get H and Cl. If you dissociate hydrogen nitrate, you get H and NO3. If you dissociate this, you get H and CH3COO. You have to take out this H separately and this CH3COO together. And here again, if you break, you get H and SO4. Here if you break, you get H and CO3 Here if you break, you get H and S. And here if you break, you're going to get H and PO4. This is how I have broken them. And you all know that hydrogen ion symbol is H plus. So we write here H plus first. H plus for hydrogen ion. Now you can see here is how many H? 1. So it's fine. 1 H, it's fine. 1 H, so it's fine. But here is how many H? 2. So we'll write here 2H. Here is 2, so we write 2H plus. Here is 2, so we write 2H plus. Here is 3, so we write 3H plus. Now always remember the number of positive and negative charge has to be always equal. So if here is plus 1, we write here minus 1. Plus 1, so we write here minus 1. Plus 1, so we write here minus 1. And if you see here, the total positive charge is plus 2. So here we should write minus 2. Plus 2, so we write here minus 2. Plus 2, so we write here minus 2. Plus 3, so we must write here minus 3. This is how I break these compounds. Okay, this is called chloride ion, not chlorine. Nitrate ion, this is called acetate ion. This is called sulfate ion. This is called carbonate ion. This is called sulfide ion, and this is called phosphate ion. Now if you see this reaction nicely, what you observe? These compounds, when they dissociates, they are producing hydrogen ion as the only positive ion. If you see in this, only positive ion is hydrogen, only positive ion is hydrogen, only positive ion is hydrogen, only positive ion is hydrogen. Same here, only positive ion is hydrogen, only positive ion is hydrogen. So how we define acid? Look now. These are those compound. Acids are those compound or those substance which on dissociation produces hydrogen ions as the only positive ions. I repeat again, these are those compound or substance which on dissociation produces hydrogen ion as the only positive ion. But you can see some compounds are producing 1H, some are producing 2, some are producing 3. Clear? So acids are those substances we say which on dissociation produces hydrogen ion as the only positive ion. And student, this is how you can frame the reaction. You don't have to mark the reaction. If you learn the way I have done just now, it's easy way to remember. Therefore, now I will call this compound as not hydrogen chloride, but I'll call it as hydrochloric acid. This compound not as hydrogen nitrate, I'll call it as nitric acid. This is not as hydrogen acetate, I'll call it as acetic acid. This is not as hydrogen sulfate, but sulfuric acid. It's not hydrogen carbonate, we call carbonic acid. It's not hydrogen, this is called hydrogen sulfide, and this is your phosphoric acid we say. And usually what student thinks is all acids are usually liquid, but there are some acids which are even solid or gas. So if you see here, this is an acid. Hydrogen sulfide is an acid, but it is a gas. Similarly, hydrogen chloride is also a gas, but it is an acid. So do remember, all acid may not be in liquid state. So name the two acids which are gas. So the answer is hydrogen sulfide and hydrogen chloride. Okay. So this is how you learn how to break the equation. So I repeat last time the definition of acid. These are those substances we say which on dissociation produce hydrogen ions as the only positive ions. Now you can see out here, students. These all are the compounds which on dissociation produce hydrogen ion as the only positive ions. Therefore, these compounds are referred as what? Acid. Okay. Now, we will see another definition of acid. Again, I am writing the same compounds out here. One is your hydrogen chloride, hydrogen nitrate, your sulfuric acid. Then we'll write here is carbonic acid. Then we write here is hydrogen sulfide. Here we write is phosphoric acid. And here I am writing is acetic acid. Acetic acid. Now if you see out here, students, again the same acids I have written out there, but I am going to explain you now is the new definition of acid. We will see the new definition of acid. Okay. So in the old definition, what I said you, acids are those compounds which on dissociation produces hydrogen ion as the only positive ion. You can see from the reaction. Now we will see the new definition of acid. Now these all acids I am going to dissolve in water. These all acids I am going to dissolve in water. These all acids I am going to dissolve in water. Water formula is H2O. I am going to show you the new definition. Now all the reaction of dissociation is shown by reversible sign. Do remember? All the dissociation reaction has to be shown by reversible sign. Now, to make the reaction easy, I am balancing without writing the product. Now, you can see how many H is here? 1, so 1 water. 1 H, so 1 water. If you see here, here is 2 H, so I am writing 2 water. Here is 2 H, so I am writing 2 water. Here is 2 H, so I am writing 2 water. Here is 3 H, so I am writing 3 water. 1 1 H, so 1 1 water. 2 2 2 H, so 2 2 2 water. 3 H, so 3 water. In this last one, this is called acetic acid, which is an organic acid because it contains carboxylic acid group. Therefore, only this last H is breakable. Therefore, we consider this as 1 H, so here is 1 water for it. Now, let us see how it breaks. So, whenever you break, do remember H is plus and Cl is what? Minus. So, this H plus you give it to it. I repeat again, I am breaking HCl as H plus and Cl minus. So, this H goes with water to form H3O. You can see here H2 plus 1, H3O, and the charge is what? Plus. Now what is left here is Cl minus. And this is known by the name hydronium ion. Now if you see here 1H, 1 water, so we got 1 hydronium ion. So here is also 1H, here is 1 water, so you get here is 1 hydronium ion. Now the left portion out here is NO3. And if it is plus, this will become minus. Now here is 2H, 2 water, so you get here 2 hydronium ion, and leftover part out here is SO4. And if you see here again 2 plus, so we write here is 2 minus. Again here if you see there is 2H, so here is 2 water, so we get again out here is 3 hydronium ion, 2 hydronium ion, sorry. And what is left here is again CO3, carbonate. Now if you see here is the total charge is plus 2, so we should write here minus 2. So always remember 1H, 1 water, we get 1 hydronium. 2H, 2 water, we get 2 hydronium. So similarly here is 2H, here is 2 water. So again we get out here is 2 hydronium ion. Now once you make hydronium ion, what is left out here? Only S, that is sulfide. So here is again 2 plus, so here will be 2 minus. Now here is 3H, here is 3 water. So we get here is 3 hydronium ion. 3H, 3 water, so we get 3 hydronium ion. Now what is left out here is phosphate ion, PO4. Now if you see the positive charge out here is plus 3, so here will be minus 3. Last one, 1H, 1 water will give you 1 hydronium ion. And what is the leftover part out here is CH3COO is left. So in this hydronium ion there is 1 positive charge, so it will have 1 negative charge. And this is the new definition of acid. Now check here students. New definition. Acids are those compound or substance we say which when dissolved in water, produces hydronium ion as the only positive ion. In this you can see only this is the positive charge ion, which is called hydronium ion. So acids are those compound we say or substance we say which when dissolved in water produce hydronium ion as the only positive ion. Acids are those substances which when dissolved in water produce hydronium ion as the only positive ions. And this is the new definition of acid. You can see out here, these all are acids. I am dissolving them in water. And as we dissolve in water, what is produced? Hydronium ion as the only positive ions are produced. So do remember, new definition of acid says acids are those compounds which when dissolved in water produce hydronium ion as the only positive ions. So students, there are two definitions of acid. Okay, old definition, new definition. Now a confusion arises to the students which one to write in exam. I like to say go with the new definition. Don't go with the old, because there is a little bit confusion for the students. You can see this compound. In this compound, hydrogen is also non-metal, chlorine is also non-metal. So being both non-metal, it is a covalent compound. And being a covalent compound, it never produces ions. Covalent compound always produce molecules, and molecule does not conduct electricity. I have already said you in chemical bonding chapter. Therefore, this is a covalent compound. Therefore, how it produces ions? That makes student confused. So therefore, you always go with the new definition of acid rather than the old. So far I have given you two definitions of acid, but when you write, you go with the new definition, and I have taught you how to break the reactions, whether in the old case or in the new definition case. Now we will see classification of acid. Okay, acid has been classified in various ways. So first we will see the classification of acid according to origin, then according to nature, then according to basicity, then according to strength, then according to concentration, and according to the physical state. So this is the way acid has been classified. There are 6 classifications of acid, in which first we will see now is according to origin. Now students, according to origin, there are 2 kinds of acid we say. One is called hydroacid, one is called oxyacid, or you can even say oxoacid. Hydroacids are those acids we say which contains hydrogen but not oxygen. If an acid contains hydrogen but not oxygen, then it is called hydroacid. Example, hydrochloric acid, hydrocyanic acid, hydroiodic acid, hydrofluoric acid. I repeat again, hydrochloric acid, hydrocyanic acid, hydroiodic acid, and hydrofluoric acid. And do remember, cyanide symbol is Cn. Now the next one is oxyacid. These are those acids we say which contains both hydrogen as well as oxygen. So you can see in nitric acid there is hydrogen as well as oxygen. Sulfuric acid also contains hydrogen, oxygen both. Even carbonic acid contains hydrogen, oxygen both. So do remember, if an acid contains only hydrogen but not oxygen, we call it hydroacid, and these are the 3 examples of it. And if an acid contains both hydrogen and oxygen, we call it oxoacid or oxyacid, and examples are nitric acid, sulfuric and carbonic acid. There are many others, but I have given you 3 examples of each out here. Now we will see according to nature. According to nature, students, again there are 2 kinds of acid according to nature. One is called organic acid, the other is called inorganic acid. One is called organic acid, the other is called inorganic acid. Organic acid, these are those acids which contains carboxylic acid group we say. Okay, organic acids are those acids which contain carboxylic acid group, and the symbol of carboxylic acid group is -COOH. And such acids are harmless. It is eatable, we can eat also. Harmless. Okay, example, acetic acid, formula CH3COOH. Formic acid, formula HCOOH. Oxalic acid, formula COOH-COOH. So these acids are organic acid. Why? Because all of them contain COH in them. All of them contain COH in them, and that COH is known by the name carboxylic acid group. So if an acid contains carboxylic acid group in it, we call it organic acid, and they are harmless. And examples are acetic acid, formic acid, and oxalic acid. Do remember their formulas also. Now we go to the next acid, that is inorganic acid according to nature. These are those acids which does not contain carboxylic acid group in them. They don't have COH group in them. And such acids are harmful. This is a harmful acid to us. It harms. Okay, and it is also known by the name mineral acids. So inorganic acid is also known by the name mineral acid. They do not contain carboxylic acid group in them, and they are harmful. Examples, hydrochloric acid, nitric acid, sulfuric acid. So do remember, students, according to nature there are 2 kinds of acid, organic and inorganic. Organic contains COH group in them, that is called carboxylic acid group. Inorganic compound does not contain that group. Examples are there. Organic is harmless, whereas inorganic is harmful. Now we will see number 3 classification according to basicity. According to basicity. So before I explain you classification of acid according to basicity, you have to know what does basicity means. Okay, students, many of you get confused, so this is the word for you to remember from now on. Okay, this is the word to be remembered for you now on to explain you basicity. Always remember, A has B and B has A. Aba means A has B, B has A. Means acid always have basicity, whereas base has acidity. I repeat again, in the word Aba, what does that mean? Acid has basicity, base has acidity. Acid has basicity means number of H plus ion or number of hydronium ion. Base has acidity means number of OH minus ion, which I discuss later. So do remember, acid has basicity. Okay, now check here. According to basicity, but before I have to explain you what is basicity. So it is actually the number of hydrogen ion or hydronium ion produced on dissociation of an acid, we say. Whenever acid dissociates, students, whatever is the number of hydrogen ion produced or the number of hydronium ion produced, that number gives you the value of basicity. So according to that, there are 3 kinds of acid. One is called monobasic acid, dibasic acid, and tribasic acid. So the three types of acid according to the basicity is monobasic acid, dibasic acid and tribasic acid. I have asked many students the definition of these three. Many were not able to give me the answer because they have marked the definition. Now see here the trick to remember the definition of these three: monobasic acid, dibasic acid and tribasic acid. Okay, in this name only there is hint, students. Read from back, you get the answer. Define monobasic acid. Read from back. These are those acids whose basicity is 1, because in chemistry mono means 1. Define dibasic acid. These are those acids whose basicity is 2. Tribasic acid, these are those acids whose basicity is 3. So in the name only there is answer, students. So if you have to define monobasic acid, do remember, read from back, you get the answer. These are acid whose basicity is 1. These are acid whose basicity is 2. These are those acid whose basicity is 3. That means monobasic acid, when it dissociates, it produces 1 H plus ion or 1 hydronium ion. Therefore, its basicity is 1. Dibasic acid, when it dissociates, it produces 2 hydrogen ion or 2 hydronium ion. Therefore, it is dibasic acid. Tribasic acid on dissociation produce 3 hydrogen ion or 3 hydronium ion. Therefore, their basicity is 3. Okay. So the example of monobasic acid is hydrochloric acid, nitric acid and sulfuric acid. Example of dibasic acid is sulfuric acid, your carbonic acid, oxalic acid. An example of tribasic acid is phosphoric acid. And you can see how many H's here? 3. All are breakable. So it produces 3 hydrogen ion on dissociation. When it dissolves in water, produce 3 hydronium ion. Therefore, its basicity is 3. Whereas they contain 2 hydrogen, 2 hydrogen, 2 hydrogen. So when they dissociate, they produce 2 hydrogen ion or 2 hydronium ion when dissolved in water. Therefore, their basicity is 2 and they come under dibasic acid. Whereas these 3, when it dissociate, produce 1 hydrogen ion, or when it dissolve in water, produce 1 hydronium ion. Therefore, their basicity is 1 and come under monobasic acid. So do remember the definition of these 3. You can see from here, students. Hydrochloric acid, nitric acid, acetic acid. All of them dissociate to produce how many hydrogen ion? 1. 1 hydrogen ion means basicity is 1. Therefore, they are monobasic acid. Whereas sulfuric acid, carbonic acid and hydrogen sulfide on dissociation produce how many H? 2. Therefore, they are dibasic acid. Whereas phosphoric acid on dissociation produce how many H? 3. Therefore, it is tribasic acid. That can be proved from here. Similarly, there, students, if you see, again you can see HCl is, when dissolved in water, produce how many hydronium ion? 1. So basicity is 1. Nitric acid is also producing 1 hydronium ion, so basicity 1. Sulfuric acid, carbonic acid and hydrogen sulfide is producing 2 hydronium ions, so therefore their basicity is 2. Phosphorus dissolved in water produce 3 hydronium ions, so basicity is 3. Whereas acetic acid on when dissolved in water produce how many H plus ion? 1. Hydronium ion 1, so it is monobasic acid because basicity is 1. So whether you determine basicity with respect to dissociation of an acid or when dissolved in water, you get the same value. Clear, students? So now do remember that basicity is the number of either hydrogen ion or hydronium ion produced on dissociation of an acid, we say. And the definition is easy to remember, just read from back. So this is number 3 classification according to basicity. Now we will see according to strength. According to strength, student, there are 2 kinds of acid. One is called strong acid, one is called weak acid. Strong acid, these are those acids which dissociate completely and produce more concentration of hydrogen ion or hydronium ion. Strong acids are those acids, students, we say, which dissociates completely. And as it dissociates completely, produce more concentration of hydrogen ion and hydronium ion. And the example of strong acids is hydrochloric acid, nitric acid, sulfuric acid, etc. Whereas weak acid, they dissociate partially. And since weak acid dissociates partially, they produce less concentration of hydrogen ion or hydronium ion. Therefore, they come under weak acid. Example, carbonic acid, acetic acid, CH2COH is formula of acetic acid, and all organic acid containing COOH group. I repeat again, all organic acid containing COOH group comes under weak acid. So do remember, all organic acids are weak. Now students, do remember like this. These 3 are the which acid I just said you? Strong acid. Why? Because they dissociate completely and produce more concentration of hydrogen ion and hydronium ion. Therefore these 3 are strong. Whereas these all are the weak acid because they dissociate partially. So if the difference between these 2 comes, what you have to remember is strong, they dissociate completely, and produce more concentration of hydrogen ion or hydronium ion, whereas weak dissociate partially and produce less concentration of hydrogen ion or hydronium ion. Do remember the definition with some examples of it, and this is the classification number 4 according to strength. Now we will see classification according to concentration. According to concentration, there are two kinds of acid again, students. One is called strong acid, the other is one is called concentrated acid, the other is called dilute acid. Concentrated acid is abbreviated as CONC dot, whereas dilute acid is abbreviated as DIL dot. Concentrated acids are pure acid, students, we say, because they are in pure form. Example, concentrated hydrochloric acid, concentrated nitric acid, concentrated sulfuric acid. Whereas dilute acids are those acids which contains water in them. Okay, example is dilute HCl, dilute nitric acid, dilute sulfuric acid. So do remember, according to your concentration, there are two kinds of acid, concentrated and dilute acid. Concentrated acid is the pure form, dilute is the impure form which contains water in it, and this is how we denote it. Now we are going to see one new thing to you, students, and that is how to convert concentrated acid to dilute acid. Okay, now look out here. Suppose this is a vessel containing concentrated acid, and to dilute it I am adding water. One case. Another case, again, this is water inside this beaker, and I am adding concentrated acid to make it dilute. But when we add the thing drop wise. We need to add drop wise. We need to add drop wise. So student, whenever you convert concentrated acid to dilute acid, these are the two cases, but which to go with? Okay, now look out here. If you add water to acid in order to dilute it, okay, the reaction will be highly exothermic, because as you put one drop of water to a pool of acid out here, the acid will come out of the vessel, okay, and accident may occur. Okay, therefore we never ever put water to acid in order to dilute it. In second case, when you add drop by drop acid to the water, it will be less exothermic reaction, the heat release will be less, and accident will not occur. Therefore, we always go with this way. So always remember, students, whenever you dilute acid, we never add water to acid. We always add acid to water drop wise in order to dilute acid. So first, why it is not done? Because this acid which is here, the quantity is more. So when you add a drop of water to it, this acid be a spot out of the vessel, whereby some accident may occur. So therefore we never dilute it by adding water. But in this case, when you add acid dropwise to the water, the heat release will be less and it will be less exothermic reaction. Accident will not occur. Therefore we always dilute acid by adding acid dropwise to water. Okay, so this is how we can convert concentrated acid to dilute acid, students, and I hope you have understood the type of acid according to concentration. Now we will see type of acid according to the physical state. You know that whenever we say physical state, the three state comes to in our mind is solid, liquid and gas. And do remember, some acids are dilute, solid, some acids are liquid, and some acids exist in gaseous state. And remember 1-2 examples of it. So name some acid which occurs in solid state. Answer is oxalic acid and benzoic acid. There are many others, but I have given you 2 examples here, because many students think that acid always occur in liquid state. It's totally wrong. Some acid occurs in solid state, an example is oxalic acid and benzoic acid. Some acid occurs in liquid state. Example, hydrochloric acid, HCl, nitric acid, HNO3, sulfuric acid, H2SO4. And some acid even occurs in gaseous state. Example, hydrogen chloride, symbol HCl, hydrogen sulfide, symbol H2S. Now, some of the students may get confused here. In liquid acid also I have written HCl. In gaseous acid also I have written HCl, but the names are different. Whether it's liquid or gaseous acid, in both examples you can see HCl. So do remember from here, students, whenever HCl is in liquid state, we call it hydrochloric acid, for which in bracket you have to write Al. But if HCl is in gaseous state, we call hydrogen chloride gas. In bracket, we should write G. So whenever you go through the books and when you read this chapter, study this chapter, do remember in HCl, in the reaction, in HCl in bracket, if it's written Al, it stands for liquid, so it's hydrochloric acid. In bracket, if it's written G, it's hydrogen chloride gas. So far I have taught you the definition of acid, the old and the new definition. Always go with the new definition. Then I have shown you 6 classification of acid according to origin, according to nature, according to basicity, according to the strength, according to concentration, okay, and according to your what? Physical state. So students, in today's class, I taught you about the definition of acids and the classification of acid. So in my next class, I am going to come up with the preparation of acid. Thank you very much. Okay, be safe, stay home. Thank you.